Since this entire series is all about using ActionScript with Flash, it only makes sense that we start from the ground up with some ActionScript fundamentals. Now, I've already got a file open that you'll find in the Lesson 1, Part 1 folder called AS Playground. And I called this one Playground because it's just got a few simple shapes that we can use to try out some very simple lines of ActionScript. Now, of course, we're going to be using the Actions window to place our actions in, but I also want to be careful right from the get-go about where our actions are going to be placed in the context of the movie itself. For our first action, I'm simply going to put it on a keyframe in the timeline. Now, by preference, I don't usually use any keyframe in the timeline. I usually give the actions their own layer. That allows me to keep them separate from the other graphic elements in my timeline, and it allows me to find them very easily, especially when I always put them in the same place. So to get things started, let's add a layer to our timeline. I'll just choose Insert Layer off the button panel. I'll rename that layer Action so I know what's going to go in it. And I'll make sure that that new keyframe in our new Actions layer is clicked when I bring up the Actions panel itself. Now, I've already got my Action panel docked into the set down here, so I'll just click on it to expand it up. But remember, if you don't have that one available to you, you can always go to the Windows menu and use the Actions menu item to bring that up from wherever you are in the program. It's also a good time to point out that the keyboard shortcut for bringing this panel up is F9 or Alt F9 on the Macintosh. Now, you can use that to toggle the Windows visibility either on or off. So we'll be using that a lot in the lessons to follow just to get the Actions window up and then out of the way when we're finished with it. Now, in order to access the Actions panel directly, I also want to make sure that Script Assist over here is turned off. If you've got Script Assist turned on, you'll see a larger panel here at the top, but you can just click that once again and turn it back off. And you can see with Script Assist off, I've got simply a flashing cursor over here, and that means I can just start typing ActionScript. Now, one of the first things I want to try typing in here is an ActionScript that's going to allow us to get information directly from the scripting of the program. I'm going to use a trace action. We can access this by simply typing the word trace. I'll use an open parentheses. And you'll notice that the program is even giving me some hints about what needs to go into a trace statement, and that would be a message of some sort. I'm just going to open up a set of quotes, and I'll just type something in here. I'm just going to type hello world. I'll close my quotes, close my parentheses, and I'll end my statement with a semicolon. Now, this is a great place to start with ActionScript because as soon as we start dealing with variables and other elements of the program, we want to have a way to be able to get some feedback as to what's going on in the inner workings of the program. And that's exactly what a trace statement is going to do for us. Let's try this out by testing our movie as it is. Now, I don't have anything on stage, so if I just go to Control Test Movie, and of course in the future we'll be using the Control Enter keys just to test our movies. But you can see it creates my movie. I have my normal panel that shows my Swift file and a preview of what my movie looks like. But because we had that trace statement in there, it now cues the output window to come up, and it types my message just like I asked it to. Now, it might seem a little silly right now just to type some message into the output window, but we'll also be using this function for tracing variables and other function values as the program progresses. Now, that's going to be our primary way of communicating almost with ourselves as the programs progress. I can try another trace statement right below it. I'll just hit the Enter key in my Actions panel. You can see I get a new line in my ActionScript, and I could try another trace statement. I'll just put in here trace, and for the message, I'll open a set of quotes, and I'll just put in new message. Once again, I'll close my quotes, close my parentheses, and add a semicolon, and I'll test my movie using Control Enter. That's Command Enter on the Macintosh. Now you can see my first trace message is placed just like it was last time, and my new trace message is placed right after it. We'll get a chance to try this really soon with some variables, but let's get through a few more fundamentals first. I'll close my output window, and another important thing to be adding to our scripts is comments. Comments are important because we can leave notes to ourselves about what's going on in a program, or use it to divide the window up when our code starts looking a little bit too complex. I can take any line and make it into a comment by simply adding // to the front of the line. I'll do that to the second trace statement. Click my cursor right at the beginning. I'll type //, and you'll notice that the line changes into a gray color. Now I can use a comment like this at the beginning of an executable line of ActionScript to simply have the program skip that line of ActionScript. I could also use it to add a comment. I'll do that really quickly right underneath here. I'll use my Enter key to add a line to my script. I'll type // to start a comment, and I'll just put something in here like, this is what a comment would look like. I can pretty much type anything I want to into a comment because I'm really just leaving notes to myself or other programmers that are going to be accessing this area. Now let's just do another test movie. I shouldn't have to close the Swift file over here as long as the screen is focused on my FLA file, and I can get that by just clicking somewhere inside the panel. I should be able to test the movie and it will simply replace the last Swift file that we created with our test movie with a brand new one. So let's try that. I'm going to hit Control Enter. Now you can see we're only getting our original trace Hello World, and our new message trace is being skipped because we've commented it out. Now just to be complete on comments, there's a second way to create comments if you've got a longer comment that you want to make. The 2 slashes simply takes a single line and makes it into a comment. If you want to make a comment that spans multiple lines, you can do it like this. I'll just go into my Actions panel, I'll hit Enter to create a new line, and if I start off with /*, you'll notice that I can type comments right after that, including comments that span down to the next line. To end a multi-line comment like this, what I'll need to do is flip the 2 characters around. I'll just type * first and then / to finish it. And you'll notice that as I type another line here, I'll just simply add another trace statement. You can see that that's coming in not in the gray color, but as a blue colored line like my original trace statement. I'll just put something else in here, just so we have something to trace. I'll close it off with the quotes, close my parentheses, and end the line with a semicolon. We'll do one more quick test movie just to see how things are working. I'm going to hit Control Enter, and that's Command Enter on the Mac, and you can see now I'm getting my 2 traces, my original Hello World trace, my new something else trace here at the bottom, and once again, since we've marked our trace line of new message as a comment, we're not seeing it executed in our code.